Welcome to Our Village Podcast. My name is Tobi Bello, and I will be your host for season 1 of Our Village Podcast. This podcast is proudly commissioned by Project Art Center, the season 1 of it. So I'm really excited to have the guests that I'll be having on today. So I have 3 Tobis. That's Tobi cubed on this episode. There's Tobi Balogun, and then there's Tobi Omoteso. If you guys have not heard of these guys, I don't know, you must be living under a rock, because these guys are just powerhouses when it comes to the dance community, the fashion community, the music community. These guys are really engraved in that, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear what we have spoken about today. I hope you guys watch the whole episode. It's going to be long, but I promise you there's so many gems that you're going to find in this episode. So let's go. So we've literally been talking so much already because, guys, there's 3 Tobis in the room.
Which one?
There is so many Tobis in the room, and this is going to be an extremely exciting conversation. I literally wore my house slippers because I'm like this is fully comfortable. Do you know what I mean? me as Nigerian Tobi, Yoruba Tobi, this is the dream right here.
It can't get any more.
It can't get any better than this.
No,
it's the closest I ever got to finding myself.
What's your name?
Tobi.
What's your name?
Tobi.
What's my name?
Tobi.
Oh, bro.
Sorry,
it's a good time.
Oh, it's a real person. It's not me. It's not Mira.
I thought I was the only Tobi out here.
In Ireland.
Yeah, in
this
Ireland.
whole country.
In the whole
and
country.
then I heard that you existed and you existed. I was like, So there's 3 of us in this country.
In Ireland.
At my grown age, I found myself.
Yeah. And I love the fact that we're all artists. I was saying this to you before. I went on a thing of researching, just Googling Tobis.
Yeah.
The amount of Tobi artists, and obviously with Yoruba people, we believe that our name manifests into anything that we do. Anything that we're called, it's it manifests. So if there's anything that has made me believe that Tobis are artists, it's just every Tobi I know is an artist. It's just I don't know any Tobi that isn't an artist.
That's actually true. And that's actually very, very, very true.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, even there's a Tobi Chikwe or Chukwe. Is an artist.
Yeah.
From the States.
Mr. Moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Moments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, every you're
every
for real.
Tobi's an artist. So
Toby Maguire, Spider-Man.
White, black, Asian. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
what you
matter
are.
if your name
are
Tobi.
Oh no, we need to have an
there's
international
nothing.
Tobi day and just get
we
loads of
actually
Tobis to all meet up and I don't know, celebrate, because it's not easy to be a Tobi.
Just
I don't
do
know
this.
what to say.
A whole festival of this.
Of that. Just
Literally.
doing that.
Just
doing that.
don't need to say anything else.
And it's a fascinating name.
It is.
And then I just remember that before I was born, my mom had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Or actually not even a miscarriage, a stillbirth.
Yeah.
Birth. And then they were like, oh, you can't have another child for a very long time, or there might be complications.
Yeah.
And Lord behold, in the next couple of months, my mom is pregnant with me.
Oluwa
Tobi.
Hey.
Exactly. That's why. Yeah.
Essentially, my things were really rough in my family or something like that. So my mom was when she was pregnant with me, it was a thing of things just started going really well.
Yeah.
And it was it wasn't even until I was given birth to that she was just no, everything changed. I didn't have money to do a baby shower. I didn't have money to do whatever. But she goes, on that day that I gave birth to you, the money that came into my hand, the things that happened, and Oluwa Tobi,
Just arrived.
what's your story? Better be sweet.
Yeah.
I was kind of the unexpected child.
Yeah.
I think my story is quite similar to
Similar to
yours.
that, yeah.
Again, I feel like every few months I like to ask my parents again and update
And
it.
just to
obviously being an artist kind of scatters sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think my mom also had a miscarriage before she had me.
okay.
Yeah.
And then she had me, but then that's when actually my parents that's when they got married. They got married after they had me.
Oh wow.
So that's when things started to fall into place, and say my dad, for example, started to make the steps to build a life, together.
Build a family.
Because my parents had met in college.
Gotcha.
So they were both in
Are you
college.
the firstborn?
Yeah, I'm the
Are
oldest.
you the firstborn?
No, second.
Same.
Paul, right?
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul.
So for context, just for people, our listeners,
Yeah.
and
Wherever
those
you may
people
be.
that
Yeah.
Tobi means God is
God is a great king.
Yeah, God is
Tobi
great.
means that God is great.
Great. God is big.
God is big, or is a phrase that you say when a joyful or
moment happens.
joyful moment,
Like Oluwa Tobi,
Tobi,
like
thank
thank
God.
God.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
God is great. Look what He's done in my
singing our
life.
own
Yeah, thank God. It's a very thank God.
It's a super scary statement.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're
charged up.
Just to like to charge you up. So for context,
that like Oluwa Tobi
Loba. Yeah, that's a
powerful statement, it's a statement that fully gives glory to God.
Like
fully gives glory to God.
Like fully, it's a embodiment of God Himself.
Yeah,
and I suppose that's why all Tobi are creationists. Or they lean into that
side of things
more.
I was literally saying to the lads, I was just like, when I was telling them about our names, I was like, listen, anybody with big name of Tobi, it's like their parents had ego in that time when they were like, I have a child. Tobi. You know what I mean? It was it was a pride of my enemies did not let me fall. Do you know what I mean? So it was like,
it was like, yo, this child is
I've really been
Tobi.
Yeah.
Guys, we need to make money. We need to be big.
I swear.
With this name,
we will.
I know,
we have no choice. Like it's literally we have no choice.
Like for real. Like
it's not like a choice. It's a pre-written destiny.
It's written.
It's written. And but then researching the name, like from the colonized version, and the indigenous version
of you were that was my first time hearing that too.
So all of the Olu, if you have Olumide, Olamide, all the Olu are like the version of Christianity where the
name of God as Olu,
Christianity when it was brought in.
Just like Olodumare is literally like God, like but it's still something that was changed because Olodumare was changed.
Exactly. It was changed. So our own deities, from the indigenous way, where like all of like there's a deity called Shokwono. And that's what our name is actually derived from.
Okay.
I think it's a god. It was so we have deities, but deities are not gods. Deities are like gods of like thunder
and nature
water, all of that, but they were not gods. They were not like on the same version of God. They were almost like the human manifestation of God.
Of a particular thing.
Of God.
Yeah, I guess in nature though. That's my favorite part. In nature.
As in nature, So God of sun,
God of
wind,
everything has creation.
Earth, and then us human beings, we would almost give sacrificial to those entities to
get greater access.
To get more rain.
It's just like within the Catholic Church, you go repent, you put this, you do this, you talk to this, you go for confession, and then it's, even though like I feel like all of us have access to God, but it's this thing of like you go to the priest, you go for confession,
you make an offering
and brings it to God. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So and now I'm diving even more
into that
because now I'm like thinking I would like to make a comic. Of the deities.
Have you seen that new series called Iyanu?
On ITV or is actually coming to
ITV.
Cool. From Nigeria. He's a Nigeria illustrator and an animation artist.
Cool. I know Children of Blood and Bone is being made.
So
I'm really excited about that.
And there's 7 books.
There's 7 books. I've only read twice of them. So
the cast is insane. I've been following her for a while. I think she spoke on Obama's inauguration, and I was like, who is this girl? And I started following her.
Amazing
and
writer.
she's writing all these books.
And
now I'm gonna get my daughter on the books.
Good.
Okay,
this conversation is gonna go like we have to.
I don't know if we have even.
Honest to God, guys, I like to anybody that's watching. Like again, a combination of 3 Tobis, who are all Nigerian, who have a Black and Irish experience, like. Even though we're caught up outside, we're gonna have to catch up again. You know what I mean? Because there's always something that has to give. But like I feel like I don't even need to introduce you guys because you guys are like it's Tobi and Tobi. You know what I mean? And not only that, these guys are not only in like spaces of like dance. I mean like you guys are spread. And I feel like that's something that's really common with again Tobis. Guys, this conversation it's all about the Tobis. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
It's going to be going somewhere else every time.
So I'm so sorry, we're gonna refer back to the fact that it's a Tobi thing.
After this you'll see when you check the birth census, when there'll be an increase of
I'm calling my daughter and my son Tobi.
I am
Tobi Junior and Tobi Junior.
From English, you know yourself, like
exactly.
So that was the worst Irish accent ever. By the way.
But we are all there. So we we can go from here and then we can go from here. Do you know what I mean? So depending on where you want to go, you know what I mean. But yeah, no, I was saying you guys are just like powerhouses, just alone in terms of like dance, in terms of just like being in the community, even like business ownership, wahaler.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? All of these things that you guys are doing.
I know. Yeah.
It's like, it's so like, I can't put my hands to it because there's so much to keep up with, but every single thing that you guys do has such impact, and like so many people are able to relate to that. And I think as an artist, being able to embody one thing is hard enough, but being able to like spread yourself and like have passion for everything that you do. I've seen you dance. I've seen you like behind a DJ desk. I've seen you and every single time I see you, I encounter a different version of you. It's
correct.
Like whatever version I encounter in whatever art form,
whatever
you
space,
as a dancer. Bro, I remember seeing you in Wake. I actually like I felt like I didn't recognize the person that I had seen before. Like I've seen you dance.
There's a lot of that. There's actually a lot of that people don't be like, yo, that Tobi that I've seen that is doing this is not the same Tobi that came. You know, and
that played and stood there behind the decks.
Smiled
at me, and now he's upside down the air.
And then he's like cooking or trying this thing out, you know.
But I feel like that's all of, like, again, similar to yourself as well. As a dancer, movement, direction, writing, poetry, music. And it's just like having access, like, it's such a blessing to have access. It's a blessing and a curse. I ain't gonna lie.
No, big time.
In this world systematic organization.
Like, and obviously, like, also being an artist, it feels like you need to be really excellent at one thing before everybody's like, oh my God, that's what
exactly.
But like, it's a blessing. Sometimes I'm like really thanking God. I'm like, I am so grateful that if something like fails, I have so many options to go to. Like, honest to God, I have so many things to go to. But at the same time, carrying the weight of like being fascinated by so many things.
That curiosity.
But,
you know,
it's funny because I think for me there was a point when I was like, for us, because he's technically he's my big bro.
Yeah,
we grew up in Carroll together. And
that's cool.
Watching him dance as a young Yoruba kid was me being like, that's what freedom feel like.
Oh wow!
I never told you that's what got me into dance.
Okay.
But for me, over the last 2 years, I've been like, I kind of balanced that whole like
disciplinary,
that free self-expression. I put it as the weight of freedom, based on what you're saying. As for us, it's hip hop culture. It has all these different elements.
Of it.
Even when you're talking to me about like, you know, seeing different versions of the people at different times. That's nature, that's hip-hop, that's Yoruba
language.
In Yoruba language, one word is expressed in 50 different things.
5 billion things.
Depending on
the
how
tone,
you say it, what tone,
the movement,
your body language,
where you put the accents, how you are passionate or sad, and everything is read off of energy.
Very true. Very, very, very,
but
very
also,
true.
I see that for me, I feel the same thing reflected in hip-hop culture, where again, you have the music, you have the dance.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's about being the culture, not having to say I am this one thing. It's actually about being the culture. And being in community with culture. Not necessarily just people, but community with culture. So if he's playing decks, you're gonna see him chopping jollof rice on the side.
The next day rhythm.
You get me. The next day you might see him cooking jollof rice while playing Spotify on his phone. You know what I mean? So I think for me, I feel like, but again, going back to what you said, I feel like that whole idea of like being free in the self. I like to look at it not as like, I have so many things to fall back on. It's like I have so many parts of myself that I haven't been afraid to express. And I think that free expression, obviously in the world we live in, comes with a weight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's always, but freedom always has a weight. If you go to the savannah, the lion is on the grass. He eats the gazelle, goes back to the grass. Someone shoots the lion.
Exactly. You
get me?
Yeah. It's a big cycle to have to go through. But yeah, I remember, like, I think it's only recently that I've come to acceptance of that, of like, I don't know, like, don't want to be diagnosing myself, but like even like multiple personality. Before I was like, do I have like multiple personality disorder or like what? Like, I literally was like,
you have a whole crisis.
Literally, because I'm just like even people who are probably going to watch that, going to be like, what is this guy doing on the podcast now? And so many things. You're going to be so confused. Like, wait, it's like the amount of side quests. In order for me to take a break, I'm learning a new skill. My break is like, I'm not doing the thing that I used to do. I'm doing something else. And it becomes a break. And then, you know, in Ireland, like, things become so like, if you show yourself to, and you do something once and you're good at it, like, people are going to be like, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
They literally put you in that box. And I think it's that, you know, we are in a capitalistic world. That you know, everything have to be like in order. I have to pretend anyways to be in order, so they will know where to funnel money too. It has to be like, okay, this.
Labeling is understanding. So it's like, okay, I know, I can identify you. I have, for me, I look at it as like almost like that subliminal thing of like control and power. Not in a toxic way. Most time, but it's like, okay, I know what this is. That's an apple. You're an apple. You are a green apple. You shine. You have a little bit of a gold in your leaf. Perfect. You are a pear. Yes. You are round and you have a long throat. You are good at spoken word.
That's it.
Perfect. And this apple over, you know what I mean? People like to like be able to place things to maybe feel like they understand it.
And for me, the first instances I've seen that multifaceted human being is actually from my community or from my parents.
And that's the question I was going to ask straight away. I'm like, being who we are as people, it like everything is like, I don't believe we come as a soul being. I don't believe like you just come and you're just brand new. I feel like there's an attachment to absolutely everything that you do.
Yes.
So when it comes to you guys, again, having access to so many artistic forms, like where is the inspiration coming from? Like, tell me about your families. Tell me, like, do you have families who are big into arts? Like, where did you find your feet in knowing that? Because I know you both are dedicated creatives. Like, do you know, like I know that.
If there's money, to the fact, if there's money, cool, we're creative.
If
there's no money,
you find me.
I'm still there.
Locked in.
If there's funding, cool. If there's no funding,
I'm there
cool.
regardless.
If there's stage, cool. If the like it has nothing but this intense urge. It's just like a burning. It's like starvation. To get something out.
Constantly.
Like just to get in whatever I touch. And like I said before, with your question. So for me, it's firsthand my fam.
Yeah.
And at that, most likely my mom.
Yeah.
And my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was this, like, he was labeled like a genius in school.
Ooh,
like he has this back
Smart.
then.
I know he's Yoruba.
Like you
Intelligence.
have brain.
Intelligence is there.
But he had this energy. And he loved music because my granddad was like an elder he was one of the first bishops actually Abeokuta.
Oh, cool.
He was.
Okay, no, we'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back. Yeah.
So and then I got to really I wanted to know more about him.
Yeah.
Now and then he was known by everybody to bring like people together. Like my granddad was that guy.
Yeah.
Was that
everybody
guy.
in the village, everybody knew him.
Know.
If they report there's going
they you understand? So I embodied that from my dad's side.
Yeah.
And then my mom's side as well.
Yeah.
My granddad from my mom's side was also a dancer.
Wow.
He was known for movement. And drumming, you know.
Like hand in hand again. Like literally.
So
and the talking drum. Like
talking drum. Literally talking drum and dancing. Again, he was known to be that guy. That if they want entertainment we're
calling him.
If you don't call this guy,
there's no party.
It's not
and
slapping.
That's how Yorubas are. Literally, like if we don't call this person this thing cannot be the same.
Exactly.
Like we place such value on who we are as people.
Exactly. But they all had side quests. Like they all like were farmers or they're mostly farmers back then. It was farmers. But anyways, then my immediate family, my mom and dad. My mom was the one that was navigating children. She had three shops in Nigeria back then. She was a singer. And she played table tennis. My
mom played table tennis. She was good.
And my mom will still smoke me in table tennis. And we have a small table tennis at home that when we go home, we still.
And has your mom ever been in Ireland? Does she ever live in Ireland?
Oh no, she's here.
She's here. Amazing. Your whole family's here.
My family.
I grew up with family.
Okay, cool.
All of them.
Oh, this is interesting.
All of them are here. And that's a blessing on its own, to have that. I even have, obviously, my brother, my youngest one was born here. Born in Kilkenny. But we were in Carlow back then, So looking at how my parents can finesse, like there were so many, and they did not separate one from the other. It's just like, oh, I had a very stressful day at work today. You know what? I'm gonna go. Let's play table tennis just to
stress, like relieve stress.
Or let's enjoy. Or let's go play, or let's play
music, let's
dance in the house. They were always dancing. My parents, my dad loved gathering people together.
Yeah.
And that's where the love that kind of fell into my own soul as well.
Yeah.
And even in our house, it was a party. Like
House.
we would just, my dad would just gather people on a Friday or whatever, music play, and then we we are doing like a small dance competition, or we're
Have
doing.
you ever danced for €5? Have you ever danced?
We were dancing in
€5?
parties. Remember those?
That's how I learned to do the splits. I learned how to do the splits for $5.
Yeah.
Literally, because I was like, I'm getting that. Like,
You
no.
were promised a $5. We would wait for them to be dashing out the dollars.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on side doing the doggy, waiting for the dollar to float this way to grab it and go, hey.
Back there was so fun. And yeah, that was and then now as I got older and then older in spirits, not older in age.
Yeah.
It's like, it's to accept all of that. That I've actually come.
Yeah, it's been there.
Who I am now has already
pre-existed.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like accepting that part, and when I go to my mom's side and my uncle sees me and he'll be like, you are like my dad, you are like your grandfather, like the way even the accent of my walking, and what I do as well, it's just it says you are like. It's like you reincarnated
of your granddad,
of your granddad, So I take that. I actually
it's a prideful thing. You take that on.
So I take it, even if I haven't seen them, or just seen like pictures, But I take that
element. I have that similar relationship with my grandmother as well. But Tobi, for yourself as well.
How old were you when you moved here? Actually,
I was 10.
10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
How old were you actually?
9.
9.
Well, actually, no, 8 years and 11 months.
Per.
Yeah.
To be exact.
To be exact, roughly. Roughly exactly.
Yeah, I was almost. I was no. I was just 10.
Yeah.
I was just 10.
I think I actually came also when I was 10 as well.
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
10 was kind of 10, 11 was when I came to
mine.
Ireland.
Background's actually the opposite of yours. So it's funny because I still have conversations with my dad now because we spent so long, like obviously in different countries.
Yeah.
That there was actually when we reconnected like deeply. He asked me, he's like, so where did the fashion and the art come from? Because
really?
No one. I think they might have had relatives before who played. Like, we had relatives who played talking drums and stuff. But my direct family, there's no creatives, no artists. But again, I think my dad always says, like, that's just because of the Nigerian industry that we were in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my dad worked in banking, so he was a businessman. So, but there's no one in my direct family who's an artist or creative or a fashion designer or particularly a dancer. So,
and do you think it's a thing that the opportunity, because again, a lot of things are done due to survival. Do you think it was a survival thing, or do you think it was a thing that you're just like, it was something, you being an artist was something that was kind of new?
For me, I think right now I look at it as my true self. I'm sure we've all been on a personal journey of like, since 2020 or whatever, self-rediscovery and going, if I'm black, who am I?
Literally.
But like, for real, but for me, I'd say maybe like 27, I started to acknowledge what was always there. And I've always been creative. I've always just naturally fallen in certain things. Before dance, like I think my deepest core memory when I started with things was like me literally at like the age of 7 sitting in a library reading book. I loved stories. I loved reading books. I spent all my time as a kid. I didn't play sports. No sports. I just sat in the library. I'd read nursery rhymes, read books. Actually, so no one in my family was a creative. For me, there was so many... Looking back, there were so many creative things going on between how my mom dressed, to the food, to the music we played. So even like just rituals of like, so my mom's side of the family are Christian, my dad's side are Muslim. And just the rituals and how we lived and how we celebrated as a community. Even like the lack of celebration where there was like maybe a bit of dissonance and disagreements, all those different elements. Because I feel like when I feel like when I came here, I forgot a lot of things just from adjusting. And I started to like fall into certain things naturally, but obviously we were growing in Ireland. And just to answer your question, I think because of survivalism, a lot of things kind of get left out. Because again, it's like I was the eldest child and the son, the first one and the son.
That's pressure.
And I lived here. My mom and my dad was over there supporting us from a distance. So you get me. So again, like raising your siblings.
And can I ask, did you guys seek asylum, or was it a thing that you guys came into housing?
don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm still refreshing a lot of the story.
Yeah, because you were like, that's something. It's such a big. Because again, you were like 8 or something, and that's something that you think you'd remember, but it's like it's so instant and so like, because like you're in a place now, and now you're here,
and now you're
like
here.
You have to be like,
yeah,
this, you know what I mean?
You have to,
There's no like
adjust.
adjusting period.
So for me, to summarize it, I feel like somewhere along the line in my family, there was definitely, well, to be honest, I look at Nigerian culture and Yoruba culture as, the more I studied over lockdown, and my name and the history and the deities and the gods and our system of faith, Ori and the Orishas, the more I realized creativity, creation, enjoyment, acceptance, existence was all parts of it. It wasn't just about put your head down, do the job, you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, being so self-expressive I think kind of started off as just letting myself be free, because I feel like growing up I had to
adjust, like
be in a lane. I was always very intelligent. From young, I was smart. I would never, again, like I said, no sports, was just books. But as opposed to trying to angle it towards books, I realized I just like have a love for life, and I actually made myself a promise. Obviously, we all this. So I lost my grandma maybe 2019, and I made myself a promise since then that I would just express whatever needed to be there and accept those things. And since then, I just remembered again, because that's why when I was Tobi, the hip hop dancer.
And
that's no, there was a time that Tobi, I like every time I remember like driving past Tobi once. Tobi's at the bus stop and he's just like moving his leg. Like, I've never seen you not move.
You get me?
Like, it's only kind of recently that I know like I haven't seen you move as much, but there was a stage that like, Tobi, never stop. Chronic pain, anything. Never. Like, this guy could have an injured foot, but like Tobi's still like, I'm gonna stand at the bus and I'm gonna dance.
And I'm going to, there's something in me that's just always loved dance. I think in Nigeria as a kid, again, young memories, like before we moved, before I even knew what hip hop was or dance styles were. We used to be at parties and I'll be dancing and competing.
You competed for the Fiverr.
Musical statue or you know that chair, the chair thing.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's just expressing what's already there. I'm a big believer in, again, like I studied numerology at a point. I say I studied numerology, actually, when you mentioned chronic pain, before I did anything, I studied numerology and found like the whole life path. And just kind of committed to what I knew being Yoruba was, what I knew, again, hip-hop had taught me about community. But also the love and life I felt my parents had carried all along. Like, my dad was always, from young, my dad was always playing music. That's why I showed the picture of Lagbaja a while ago. I realized, I only knew Fela when I came to Europe. But Lagbaja, Koko Below has been
Nigeria's best kept secret.
Pasuma has been bumping in my eardrum since I was like 2 years old. So
remember, it was because, Nigerians hated Fela. So, newsflash. Not everybody in Nigeria
likes Fela.
Loved Fela.
Yeah, but why?
It was more.
I guess
it was because of the propaganda,
exactly.
and he was actually speaking truth.
He was speaking the truth, and also the type. The way the women also carry themselves. There was an element of freedom with him. And like, cause I remember seeing the videos of all the women like kind of smoking around him, and dancing, wearing all the shorts,
and
which was like,
so he wasn't the
idea of this Nigerian man we were supposed to be. But for me, looking back, because I only started learning about Fela more recently, in the last few years. But looking back, Fela, he represented more of our original traditions.
Traditional, 100%.
The polyamorous relationship with his wife, but also he worked to protect them, to remind them, to make sure they have space to be themselves.
He housed them.
You get me? So he represented, for me, I love to look at myself as like a balance between the energy of Lagbaja and Fela, because there's that balance between like the traditions and then bringing those traditions forward in a courageous way. In a courageous new way that still holds down, even if the word is against you, no one understands it, and still just being able to sing your song and enjoy, you know what I mean? But so I think for me that's where a lot of it came from. I think also even just seeing that, how much, I think we all talk about how much our parents sacrificed, and that thing of survivalism, how much they couldn't express themselves, and then when finding this, though, not always finding the space to, just always choosing to.
Exactly.
Choosing to, like, they couldn't, so it's like,
so we have to.
But also for me, I'm realizing, like, by expressing that part of ourselves, it actually frees them as well. Even regardless of how much pressure I'm under, again, whether there's funding, space, money, whatever. Exactly. By allowing them to see what can be freely expressed from our culture, it actually, like, I've literally seen it change lives and change my family. It's open, again, since being an adult, but also having a job and also holding it down and paying rent and whatever. It's opened up sides of them that they've maybe never gotten to see because they were, again, holding space for
Exactly.
the kids to be able to have a better
opportunity.
Now, whether that opportunity to be expressive and creative was understood at first,
that's a different. Let's come back to
I have so much to talk about.
I know.
That was a.
I shouldn't have dropped the bomb. But anyways, so for me, a lot of it now comes from like, okay, no, I think. I also look at the term human being. So it comes as a surprise. I am black, yes, but I'm a human being first and foremost. I'm a human being, then I'm Tobi. That's what my parents named me as. Tobi Loba Akim Balogun.
And then society sees you.
And also, I for myself must know what each of those words mean. Yes. Most people don't know this about me. I also have a placement within my character for what each of those characters means to me and how I carry them. But also, then I'm Yoruba.
Yes.
Then I'm a man.
Yes.
Then I'm Irish.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I came here, then I'm black.
Yeah. But I like when you say when you came. That's when you are black.
In Nigeria, I was just Tobi. I was just you get me. But also as that studying Yoruba culture, I know, like, again, just because I'm interested in something and I'm not trying to be, again, productive, commercial, capitalistic with it, doesn't mean I can't be, as a black man, I can't be eloquent, I can't be intelligent. Yes. I can't hold, how would I put it? I can't hold real love for things in the point of like, okay, I like this kettle. I want to actually understand it. Not because I'm trying to be preventing with it, but just because it's fascinating. So I'm going to spend time sitting with this one thing. And I think for me, that's also, I'm very passionate about allowing myself to be free. I think we all are. I think it's a Tobi thing as well. Allowing myself to be free. And not just me, but myself and my community to be free in ways that we're told we're not, again, supposed to be, whether it's as a man, as a
whatever it
human being. So it's like trying to just express different sides of myself, and then also, like, again, accepting the journey that comes through that,
with all of that,
regardless of whatever.
That answer was like, there's so many questions that I literally have stored in my mind and I have to stem for that, but like I need to get to this question because this is one for me throughout, like, researching, and because this conversations, I think they're the most important conversations to have about, like, actually knowing ourselves, knowing where we come from, like putting context to who we are as people and why we create. But this question for me, this is the question I've been asking myself this year. It's like, because I'm living the alternative version of my life right now, if that makes sense. Because it's like, I'm meant to be in Nigeria. It's this thing of like, I feel like I'm living my alternative version. Because like, this is Tobi in Ireland. Like, obviously this is my parents' survival instinct to be like, I need to leave, I need to da-da-da-da. And then I'm in Ireland, I need to da-da-da-da-da. But then every single moment, I'm like, I'm living off the survival instincts of my parents, right? And this is my alternative reality. Like, this isn't a reality where people are calling me Oluwa Tobi Loba when I'm walking past the street. It's not Tobi. Do you know, they call me by my name. This is I'm like, would I have still pursued, like, artistry? Would I have still, like, do you know what I mean? I always think about that, but I'm like, because I know internally I'm so, like, it's just, this thing is, regardless of whatever it is that is there. Like,
the fire is burning.
It's burning. Do you know what I mean? It's like, regardless of it, I feel this thing so intensely. So I'm just like, is this part of the alternative reality of, like, being in a place like Ireland and feeling like there's an extra need to express who I am? Or would this have been me? Like, could this be Nigeria right now? Do you know what I mean?
I think, honestly, I ask myself that question all the time. Sis? All the time. And I think it's something I boil it down to, it's being a human being, and wanting to feel related to. But I also feel like, to bring it to a serious note, a lot of us, when we grew up here, your environment is at odds, and I mean literally at odds. Like, your environment to some point. I look at Carlo, where I'm back in Carlo now, the last like year or 2 months, and I'm like, it's funny because this town that I once felt so rejected by, it doesn't even matter to me anymore. I'm just here.
I'm just here. I'm just here.
I think on one end, it's really to be quite honest and just natural, but I think on one, it's really the grief of knowing where you're from and where you are rooted, and accepting that rooting, but not always feeling that rooting nearby. So there's always part of it that's like, because I'm just, when you said you're like alternative reality, I'm like, part of me is always like I should be in Nige, and people can call me my real name, and to have lived that life, and would I have made these choices? But then I also am like, if we look at reality, again, the heavy context of colonization, capitalism, and whatever, there was a point when I literally used to like grieve the fact that I haven't been home in 10 years. And I realized I'm like, without ever moving to Ireland, would I even have been able to see this side of myself?
True.
And that's and to be honest, the only reason I'm using that to kind of give us the room to breathe in that topic is I talk to my dad now, and we talk about, like, I never thought growing up, like my dad called me a polymath once. The child in my brain went, Tobi, we didn't know that dad could use that word though.
Yeah.
That call us a polymath. Something my brain smiled, another part kind of cried. Like, I never thought my dad would know that word, but my dad is also like, part of the aim of sending you abroad was for you to hopefully come back one day. And my dad literally told me about 3 months ago, I think around Christmas, he's like, I don't know if you could ever come back. Not that there's no space for you here, but the country hasn't gotten better like we thought it would.
Yeah.
You get me? So it's
Tobi, you're taking it too deep.
No, sorry. But for me, I'm like, the deep has to be something we just sit with. That's part of our culture. You get me? It has to just be the table is the table.
And it's such a scary conversation to have right now, because I want to come back to that point. But Tobi, I want to hear what you think on like the alternative element of like being in Ireland right now and creating in Ireland.
And bottom line is, I probably would have died. I probably would have been dead. Like, let's just say it as it is.
Yeah.
So because when I was about like 7 or even younger, I had an accident. Me and my friends, as the colorful character as I am, I had like energy for days. I think now they label it ADHD.
Yeah.
You know?
Not us laughing about it.
I know. I know. That's the
we all
thing.
have something. We all got something.
You know what I mean?
My label, my label spectrum is like full.
Wow.
Like even more and more. Like I'm just deciding.
The older you're getting, you're like, well, when I can afford to go do another, screening, so I'm just doing them just to have them, just to say, okay. It's an explanation for why this is
it's simple as that. It's just to find an explanation. But in Nigeria or in Africa,
stubborn. Are you rough? Are you? Do you know what I mean? There's so many other words that like you're mentally like.
They don't even. The mental thing is not even.
It's not even in the picture. It's whether you're stubborn,
it's just stubborn.
Or something has infected you.
Exactly.
Not to bring it deep, but it's like something is in you.
Who have you been talking to? Who are you hanging around?
Who have you been drinking? But so I was that kid. But my parents or my circle never labeled me. They just say it's just different.
Yeah.
He just has more energy than usual.
Than others. And
the thing is, because and I was always outdoors. There was no one, I cannot remember, one instance of me just staying indoor in Nigeria. Like it was
you were out.
I was always out climbing trees, doing flip, actually on my street.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a place called Ikeja.
Yeah.
Right. And that Iyanopaja. At that Alimosho.
Yeah.
And there's 4 million people there.
Yeah.
And that's almost,
how many do you know how many languages, how many like cultures even within that space?
So my background, my and that's a town.
Yeah.
That's not a city.
Yeah.
Or country.
Yeah.
Comparing to Ireland, when you come to Ireland, where back then there was 4 million. Now there's obviously 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But
still,
that was my backyard.
I played with 6 million.
I had population growing up.
And I was and in my circle that I was the first person to do backflip.
Oh,
backflip.
But you had the energy.
I
were jumping.
So I was so we learned backflip, and then the crazy thing I learned at that point was like, anything you create in Nigeria, right? Because there's so many people, it gets flipped. Like there's so many iterations of it that becomes so. I don't want backflip. I barely could land it.
Yeah.
I went on holiday, came back 2 weeks ago. People were doing triple backflip already. Yeah. I'm like...
and the thing about Nigerians, we never carry last.
No,
never.
Oh, wow.
If I see you do something, it's not even on some competition thing. I just think I'm better.
I just want to be excellent too.
Excellenter.
Yeah. Excellenter. Yeah. That's literally...
And it's on... And the beautiful thing about it is like, it's never on... So obviously, like, people will take it as some negative thing. But like, on a real, like, it's this internal grind in you that like, I saw something. I know you can do 3 times of that.
Yeah.
And you will try it.
And then people around you will encourage that.
Yeah, they will encourage it. Like,
you know,
and the thing about it, even if you see someone doing better than you, you will encourage it.
Yeah.
But I will still be better than you. I will find a way.
I'll still see you in 6 weeks. I'll be at home.
And I think that never left us or left me anyways. But anyways, to go back to your question, the point is that I would have probably been dead because at that age I had somebody throw a stone and shattered my teeth, like my 2 front teeth. Yeah, they're fake, but they're nice, right?
Yeah. Anybody gotta know.
If you're looking for an ad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the sponsor. Like, if you guys are looking to sponsor teeth.
Yeah. And that smile.
Toothbrush,
yeah.
We got it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So basically, and then obviously, you know, for dental care, you know, it was like yes, at that time there was, and I didn't come from a family that had like riches or gold or anything. Yeah. But we were not starving either. You know, we were not running from war and any of that thing. Yeah. We were like
average family.
Very average. Very average. But dental care wasn't in the plan.
Yeah.
Bro, even an average family in Ireland, dental care ain't in the plan.
Listen, way the inflation is rising,
You understand?
Yeah.
So we went, and my dad have already moved here.
Okay.
You know?
So did your dad move before?
Force, yeah. Cool. My dad was here. I didn't see my dad for 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, like literally didn't see my dad for 7 years. So
And can I ask, did he seek asylum or did he go through like an educational course or anything?
My dad was already he was working in the airport before.
Okay, cool.
And then he had a job.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to get more studying because my dad loved studying.
Reading,
he just loved studying. And he wanted to go abroad to do nursing education. Or something like that. Yeah. And then he finally just
stayed.
And then he done all the things. He didn't go through the asylum route. He didn't go through anything like that. He just came on a work visa or one of those things, and then we just joined him.
And you know, like, what year was this? Like, because this is probably.
Oh, my dad has been in Europe for 37 years.
Wow. We're interviewing him next. I really need that because I need perspective, like older people who have been in Ireland for a while.
It's
huge.
So 37 years, and for him, when he look at us, he cannot believe it. He cannot. He's still getting terms with it, like. They're funding you. There's something like you, they're funding.
Yeah,
you know,
they care about what you have to say.
Or are they not going to think you're going to take the money and
run away
and dip? You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I got really sick because it got infected.
Yeah.
And my gums were rotting.
Wow.
You know, literally rotting.
Exactly.
And I don't wish the pain on my worst enemy.
No, toothache is the worst.
Yeah.
No, I remember like being in America once. I think my molar started growing. I prefer to actually book a flight to come back because first of all, I ain't paying your prices. No. And then second of all, like the pain is so intense.
Yeah.
Like a toothache is like break my arm.
Oh. Yeah.
I literally have had a broken arm. I'll take a broken arm over a toothache.
For real. And I have sprained everything. Like and this pain.
Toothache?
It's not. It's different.
This pain. Like I would just sit there and my eyes, you know, you get this twitching in your eye.
Your brain.
Yeah, like there's this
side
twitch.
of your face, everything is like.
And then I now got malaria on top of that.
Oh yeah,
oh, you know, bro. I had that. That's rough.
So
shout out to Tobi for being here, man.
Yeah. No, I've had 4 NDE near death experiences.
Wow.
You know, so there's a lot here. You know, that I literally
there's
always have to contain. I'm always trying to contain because something just want to come out. But anyways, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So fast forward to like a year before I came here.
Yeah.
The doctor was like, you know, the malaria plus the teeth thing, you know. And then
it's adding up.
It's adding up.
I don't know if you're gonna make it.
It's adding up.
It's adding up.
Yeah.
And
we need to subtract something.
Yeah, something got to go. And you know, and now it makes sense. You know, back then there's 6 in my family. You know, and you know the saying in Africa is that you know you have a lot of children. Because you know that not all of them will make will physically and metaphorically make it. Yeah. You know? So
listen, guys, they gave birth to us as dishwashers, as a different type of thing. So one of us has to make it.
Yeah, exactly.
So have 10, 4 will make it.
Yeah.
At least.
At
you
least.
know what I mean?
As,
Like,
you know, at
The
least.
current ratio of survival.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You understand?
Yeah.
So back then, there was no money for treatment. There was no nothing. So now when I think back of that experience, and and thankfully I came out that experience. I mean, and my parents fast tracked everything, especially my dad.
Yeah.
Fast tracked everything to get me over here to start getting treatment. You know, and luckily enough.
So basically, it was a survival thing.
Yeah.
Was it a thing? Did you think your dad actually planned for you to come here, or was a thing of like they saw it and they're like, okay, we need to?
The only thing my dad wanted us to do was study.
Yeah.
And then dip back.
Yeah.
You understand? Like study, there was no any plan to stay. And even him, my mom didn't even want to come to Ireland.
Yeah.
But because her children and she was forced to come. She didn't want to leave Nigeria.
Yeah.
And FYI, not everybody wants
exactly.
to.
Yeah. Let them know.
Just let them know.
Not everybody want to come here, okay?
Not everybody wants to come,
Yeah.
So just to have it in there.
Yeah, my mom was forced here as well.
Exactly. So, and I think that narrative needs to be shared to the wider public. That listen, not everybody actually wants to come to Ireland, you know, and maybe they will have a different perspective on it, as well, because I think it's just one narrative that's being pushed. That been pushed. So yeah, and then anytime I have that thought that I'm doing art, I'm here. I get I cannot take it for granted.
Yeah.
So I become like a childlike.
Yeah.
Like I become so.
But you have that spirit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I'm not gonna share your age, but when I was told your age, I was like, nah, lie.
Honestly,
I was like, it's a lie. There's no way you're that age.
No, but that's the thing. It's just that child. It's the appreciation
for life.
For life. Literally. Man,
I don't know.
Man's was need to go
That's
4 times,
bro.
Like 4 times.
Bro.
4 times is
wild. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
4
just
times
crazy.
is wild. Like,
Crazy.
Yeah, no.
So
movie, any film directors.
Yeah. We got a whole story for you.
4 times gonna die.
4
times,
and I'm still
Come
here.
on.
That's something.
That's something. Write
That's
a book.
something.
Write a book.
And only last year my car flipped like 4 times,
Bro.
or 5 times.
Write a book. We need a director. If you're a director, anybody want to fund? Anybody want to fund?
Tobi pull up in the 4x4 man.
In Limerick, you know. But and now I'm
the assassin is not good at his job.
No.
At all.
Oh, you're better. I like this. I like this. Yeah,
mighty.
Very mighty. Very mighty.
Yeah.
So that name, even Tobi, I've now sat in.
It's actually a prayer.
It's a prayer.
Back to the name.
Back to the name.
But also the joy is a choice. It's a choice.
So it's a joy that I look back and everything I do is from a place of just
gratefulness.
You can people around me will feel it. You will just feel it. That this guy, what's up with this guy?
Happy.
He's just like
he's just happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Yeah.
There's nothing else. There's no you name it. So it gives me it just gives me that perspective, and that's the thing that But that when I think back to Nigeria, before coming here, that was the force that the gratitudeness of being able to do what I do now. Because if I have the alternative me living this, if I was back there,
I don't know.
I would have
4 times.
I would have been like, peace out. It's been real, planet Earth.
It's
there was a highly chance of that happening. And so that's where I take the not to take any literally for granted. From.
So and you're like, listen, I could be living in Switzerland and I'm literally going to be as happy.
I could be
place me anywhere.
I could be in. I don't even know where. I don't even
place me anywhere.
I place me anywhere.
As long as I'm living regardless. And
I'm moving and I can. I still have my. I barely have my legs now. But
they're working though. They brought you here.
Your legs, my feet.
You dancers. Listen. Yeah, y'all need some. Anybody that got extra legs at home.
Listen, if you have a spare pinky toe, bring it this way.
Pinky toe.
Bring the foot.
To be honest, this AI thing that is happening, if a robotic somebody come and say,
cyborg me right now.
You want to trade your legs, your real legs? I would think about it.
Take it.
Give me painkiller. I want the iron frame.
Dentist come for you four times. They
Yeah.
come. It won't get you this time. Not with an AI leg. No.
Not at all.
No.
You understand?
With them steel legs,
Anybody wants an experiment of a leg?
Yeah. Come to me. If I can interchange legs, this is for dancing.
Yeah, can we switch it up as well?
Yeah. This is for dancing.
Yeah.
This is for hiking.
Yeah.
This is for swimming.
You know?
That would actually be kind of
brilliant.
four.
Any takers?
Wow.
Any takers?
Three times. Yeah. But yeah, so that's where my alternativeness come from, and I'm just literally, it's just a state of, I'm actually literally in a state of gratitude.
Yeah.
100%, like
all the time.
There's no I have to remember myself to give thanks. Or
No. I live in
it's
that
all the time, because I now notice that once I'm in that space, then it leaves room for magic.
Yeah.
100%. And it's a nice source to create.
And it's also
from.
like it sounds like a place that because honestly, if life has tried to come for me 4 times, I'm not scared anymore. It's because I'm it's one of those things that you literally when the fear element is being removed and you also understand free will.
Yeah.
Game over.
It's done.
Facts.
Game
It's done.
over. Literally game over.
And my name is Big.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, so my name is Big. So
Yeah.
it's game over. So I'm entering this space that space was created for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, that is wow.
Mad.
And I was like, let's take a moment, but I'm like, he's alive. You see?
Yeah, no, honestly, no, because
honestly, the 4
it's
deaths
my
is
first time hearing another guy
yeah,
speak
same.
what I felt the last few years in terms of literally, I've almost lost, you've almost been wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people don't understand what the energy, what actual to live in gratitude is.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Like living in gratitude is something that it's very cliche, and everybody says it, and people blah, blah,
No, but
blah.
the cliche is to say it and to try and
to
prove
live it
but
and
to
be
actually
in
live
it.
it.
Yeah.
But to actually just
Experience it?
Yeah, that's a state. That's a you embody that state.
Yeah.
You embody that state, and it's something that I watch my mom do.
Yeah.
Too.
And you know what? I think because a lot of people think that the things that cripple us are again, blackness or whatever it is. But it's just bro, I survived 4 times. I got bigger problems than
way big.
Yeah.
than what?
I have bigger things that I'm trying to achieve.
The
expression of who I am. I can't take my blackness away from that. But my expression isn't to prove to you that I'm black.
I'm black, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That
My
one
expression is
there.
to prove
That one
my
there.
gratitude for survival. The way I dance is an expression of I am alive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do. I don't. There's no time. There's
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
So and I think there's a saying. I might say it wrong, but it's called Miyamori or Miyamori. Is back in the Roman times.
Yeah.
The emperor used to have a skull on his chariot.
Yeah.
Just to remind him or her that. Actually, it's him back then.
Yeah.
They don't like women. I don't know why. But it was.
That's a conversation for another day.
I know that they. I don't know why. I don't know why. But anyway.
Tune in on the next episode of.
And the chariot, and they had a skull, and that skull is to remind them that they're gonna die.
Yeah.
You are gonna die.
Yeah.
You understand?
So do it.
And so whatever
you're gonna do,
you gotta do. But not do it from a place of hoariness or
fear
or fear. It's just that
do it.
Privilege. I think it's a privilege to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of a bit of a motto that I have embodied as well.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think the choice to live is it's a big burden to carry. But I think for me, since last year, and I think since even the whole pandemic situation and realizing the privilege just to be alive. And it's also because obviously the access to social media now, the fact that we've seen beheadings on our phone. We've seen there's nothing that you have not seen on your phone at the moment. I remember there was a stage that I really had to wheel myself out of it because again the intensity of seeing all of these things, and I could be on the bus and I could something could happen, there could be a bomb that could literally fall from the sky. I should stop thinking I have this privilege to just be able to walk around all the time and everything is going to be fine. It's it's a privilege to wake up every single day
literally.
and to be able to do, because people literally
cannot do.
Yeah, I think the stats of 150,000 people, like as we go to bed tonight, like I guarantee 150,000 people
would
are not
not wake
waking
up. Wow.
And this is not because of old age. This is young. This doesn't, it like death isn't partial.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's not partial.
It's very fair. It's very, it comes, it evens out the playing field.
Literally,
you know?
Yeah.
So to take that, walk in and be like, yo, this is what I have to say. Like, this is what, like, I better get everything out.
Yeah.
I want to get everything out in different forms, in different textures, in different format, in different ways, in different ideas, in different situation, in different spaces.
I want to be present. Full stop.
I think the question I was going to ask you guys, like, because it's been answered, because the question was going to be like, being in Ireland and being Irish, how's that influenced your work and blah, blah, blah. But like, just by your answer alone, it's like, I could be literally interviewing you guys in Dutch and we could be having the same conversation.
Because I never look at before you go, but I have never looked at myself. I understand all this black thing that is happening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I put teen on it.
Yeah.
Because it's existential to
who,
me. Yeah. To what I am and to who I am. Yes. We are in a society that is trying to carve out a lot of spaces. You know?
Yeah.
But for me, I like what you said. Like, I'm a human being for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like. You might see me. You see me as black.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the way.
That's great.
That's the way you see me.
Good on you, bro. Good on you.
That's the way you see me. I don't see myself as that. But not that I am not knowledgeable or I am
not aware. Because
aware.
I experience it. Like I experience what you guys put out there.
And the behavior towards somebody that is black. But I try to distance, not even try. It's just like I see myself first as a human. I'm human.
I'm upset that you speak to humans like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, you could be speaking to anybody, a Chinese or any from any, it's like, I am on the side of humanity.
Yeah.
So when I create for humans, right? And I have love for humans, and I know that there's been injustice that's happening, and we just have to tip that scale, right? So if I'm saying I'm pro-black, it doesn't mean that I'm anti anything. It's just that it's just that the scale just needs to
be rebalanced.
But I also think, like, when people perceive blackness as well, it's like they don't perceive it with a heightened sense of love. They might perceive it with a heightened sense of anger, a heightened sense of emotion. They don't see. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, even though we're seeing everybody as human beings, but it's also I feel like you get looked at like, okay, this person has, like, again, the angry black woman. You know what I mean? Or the aggressive black man. They look at you and they're like, he has more aggression.
It's not. I'll be honest. Heightened, I can deal with. Again, that whole thing, like, if you're point blank or racist, okay, I know how to handle you.
Yeah.
For me, and it's funny because I think I'm sure you guys will agree, it's the self-hate, in quotation marks, I've had to undo for myself as well. Things that you were taught unknowingly. Even referring to myself as a human being wasn't until I was like 25. Before then, everything was I'm black. And I get 25, I'm like, wait, you're abandoning me?
Yeah,
I'm get me?
I'm this,
for me, it's more systematic and subliminal. And I said this to
and that's the danger. That's
the daily risk that we face every day.
Yeah.
Where you don't, again, that thing of you don't see color, you don't think you're racist. But at the end of the day, to you, I'm black. Before I'm a person.
Yes.
So you're gonna treat me
you without even knowing. And then you might not even, and it's not to shade whoever or to cast judgment, but it's how because even growing up at home, we all thought we were black. And then there's literally one day when I was like, my mom never pretended to be a black American woman. She still had to carry what she carried.
Carried on doing.
Brought the kids forward. My dad, the same thing. So I was like, where's my courage and why am I living myself just black? That was also part of my journey. You get me?
Nice.
But for me, it's that whole... it can be very, like, intense of, like, oh, this, but it's the subliminal, like, I'm automatically labeled.
As this.
That's actually what scares me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not scares and like, oh, I'm terrified. No, I understand it now. But again, that's a journey. Like you said, that's a journey.
And it's also the language. It's like how you're spoken. Like
it's how you expect me to. It's how you expect me to show up. It's how you. It's how you subliminally.
Yeah, you've
speak to me.
Labeled.
You've already placed me somewhere.
Yeah. And the thing about it, the language in which you use changes.
Yes.
Then how you, like, even because this is something I want to talk about as well in terms of the Arts Council and in terms of applying for stuff and in terms of like defining yourself as something and the references that in which you come from.
Yes.
But it's like I feel like there's a certain language because like I'm really grateful for like the people that I've met in the arts, especially like Kathy, like this is somebody that is just, you know what I mean? There's certain people that you meet in the arts that really like, because they have that conversation with you as a like human.
Yes.
It's when you turn and you start having a conversation with other people that you start really like, girl, don't dumb this down for
me.
I know what's going on here. It's just kind of like
they have that conversation with themselves and how they
and it's like they might not feel like you're doing it intentionally, but it's again your perception of me is like you don't know what's going on. You don't. It's like
you don't need to know.
Get an idea of who I am. And then like, if you feel you need to advise me in these areas, but don't approach me on that.
And that's and like you said, that I think that's what in the arts or in the wider public needs to be conscious, be in the forefront. You know that, and each human being has to treat another human being as a human being.
Okay, this question, this is because obviously like we understand like all these diversity funds, all of these that they're important, but in this conversation as all of us being as this one thing, because obviously the diversity funds are important because they want more people and but at the same time it's like, how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about that diversity labeling, that specific thing that comes out for this and that? Like, what do you feel like that adds to the whole, like, we're all human and we should all be trying to, obviously, because the people who are going to be choosing the people, they're not, they're going to choose their own, basically, or but do you feel like those things, how it's categorized, how it's placed within the Arts Council, how the language used around introducing Blackness or alternativeness into the art space, it's like, how do you feel about the language that's being used?
I have this phrase, so I might pass it on. It's like I have this phrase that I'm using recently, and it's my theme for 2025, that we have to be careful that these diverse cultures are being brought in to bring balance to our communities. Not just, and again, I tend to talk in a broader systematic sense, because at the end of the day, like as well, like I don't use words like ethnic. I don't call my community Black. You were there at Asker. I named it an Irish word for a reason. But we have to be careful that while all this change is happening, and it's more, again, maybe the warning is better, that the cultures aren't being brought in to diversify whiteness. And I don't mean white people. I mean the system is whites, whitey, YouTube, you know what I'm saying? But these cultures should be brought in to bring a balance to our community, the globe, not simply to address whiteness, diversify whiteness or capitalism to make things a bit more spicy, but also because of how the system works and how things are run. For me, there's what I like to call innocent naivety. Not everyone has it out to mess somebody over. This is bad language. To mess somebody over. But when we're trying to achieve, again, it's like going to the gym. When you're trying to achieve something, you have to quantify. So then things become a quantity. Your very being and your Blackness becomes a quantity, and it's like it's how we end up being defined. But then it ends up quite often what ends up happening is it's just been done in a way that sweeps white shame under the rug. So there's certain conversations we're not going to have. Why? Because we're just want to change things.
We're diverse.
You know what I mean? And that also, for me, tokenism, I'm talking about tokenism also has its place. But for me, those things only really apply if we're able to hold conversation about those things.
100%.
Because then we know, okay, well, this has to happen because of this, as opposed to like DEI. But you don't know how to pronounce Oluwatobi, but you can pronounce Petrov, you know what I mean? And I think they're needed in our community, and if even more so our communities, not just the Black community, the Asian, the Indian, the Dutch,
the traveler,
the Norwegian,
that's like the traveling community.
Everyone needs it, because for me, growing up was like, even Carlo, was literally found Blacks versus travelers. And
the thing about it is, I've never gone to a theater and experienced any story from the traveling community. This is a conversation I was having recently as well. I was just like,
welcome to my show, home.
I'm coming.
There's traveling, you know.
Good, like, this is good.
Just human beings being humans.
Sorry, can you please let the people know? Like, wait, watch, Like he was saying so many things. You know? But home
home is work that we did not do from a perspective of EDI. We done it from a perspective of humans. And humans have stories to tell. Whatever community is they're from. And whatever shape, size, disability level, you name it, that they're from. And we just want to speak. We just use that to tell people stories. Obviously, their stories will come with a lot of personal experiences that might be comfortable or uncomfortable. But you own them the honest to sit there and listen to their stories because they're humans.
Like everybody has a story to
tell.
Exactly. And I think relatability is really important because I remember growing up, like I had one of my girls, like I was in the primary school, do you know what I mean? Her name was Kaylee.
Shout out Kaylee.
And Kaylee was literally, she was from the traveling community, and I remember like being in like new in school, the whole shebang, and I remember like really getting along with her. But like out of every single person that I could bring home, Kaylee was the only person I could bring home, because if my mom put pounded yam on the table, Kaylee's eating it. So if like you don't understand, it was like there was this understanding that I had with her that was like, it was even how I greeted my mom. It was just like, she was like, she did the same thing. And whereas like where I have people who are like, again, a lot more like in this environment where, do you know what I mean? Like everything has been good. It's one of those things that it's like they come in and they're kind of like, they're kind of wandering around. Whereas like Kaylee adapted so quick. Do you know what I mean?
And it wasn't even adapting. It was just
accepted.
It was like she accepted you.
Me,
she accepted like this is this human being.
Because I used to be so afraid of like my friends seeing me eat pounded yam.
Well, someone walked in and knew, okay, no, that's food.
And she eats it.
It's not what are you eating? No, it's like that's food. And someone
and my mom loved Kaylee for that.
And in all my experience, I've been with traveling community, in the travel community. My first girlfriend was from the traveling community. And
I'm sure she was a bad bitch.
And she didn't look at me she was the one that did not look at me that I'm different. Because she was already different.
Very marginalized.
She was already there. And then we met in a space whereby we see each other as how we are. And I didn't let another person tell me about the traveling community. Because that's what is, these secondhand experiences that people have had. Not saying that everybody, there's good, bad, ugly in
everything.
In all
everything.
Exactly,
like
literally across the board. But then to label that whole community
that thing
as that thing, as Nigerians, where labels are 419s, Did you get that email? Did you get that? Did you get that email about, the queen, the prince or whatever, and now all Nigerians are that, but
social media, whoever is doing marketing for Nigeria, can you fix up?
Please.
Like whoever is doing marketing for the whole community, fix up.
And even Ireland, you go out and you're like, oh, you from Ireland? Is there leprechauns? Or Irish people are always drinking. I want to slap somebody in the face.
Like, bro. I don't know. For me, it's like even like going anywhere and like people still thinking like going to parts of America, people still thinking like Ireland is part of the UK or we use the English. I was like, I just look at them like, are you trying to?
Can you not? Do you?
Are you dumb?
Are
you stupid? Like,
y'all stupid or y'all dumb?
And it's like literally, and it's straight up like the lack of like just knowledge about like who we are as people. And it's just, again, it goes back again to like this whole, even like people not believing that there's even black people in Ireland.
And
listen. I spent 6 months in London during lockdown and people were like, oh, you're Irish?
And the thing about it, when I leave Ireland, Jesus Christ, my accent gets strong.
So strong.
I'm literally getting in there like, I'm full on hearing absolutely everything.
I'm wearing my Limerick guy t-shirt.
Literally, I'm like, what's the story? Welcome.
Car well on car coming.
You see me in Nigeria.
Car well on car coming.
You should see me in Nigeria. I'm wearing my jerseys. I'm wearing Waterford. I'm wearing like Limerick jerseys. I'm like,
go to his Instagram, like see everything.
Literally, like because
I mean that, like that's part of who I am.
I'm not wearing it as to say like to show or to, because
I get what you mean.
That's just me.
It's part of who I am. And I think it
like,
took a long time for me to accept the Black and Irish title.
Yeah,
like it was this part of me again because my background is a bit different So part of me, I was fostered in Belgium. So I was fostered for a couple of years in Belgium. So I lived with like I went from foster home to foster home. So like majority of the people I knew were kind of white. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So coming to Ireland and like meeting my family. So like for me, that whole transition was like it was like a whole crazy. You know what I mean? Like eating pounded yam in the house. Like these are all things that, because I left Nigeria when I was like 2, and then from 2 to about 11, and I still today have not been back to Nigeria. Anybody want to fund me?
Don't worry. Wait. Don't worry. I'm creating those spaces. I'm building those spaces.
Okay, cool.
I'm building those spaces for artists. Like
that's like a big part
Black and Irish artists. I feel like have a real place in Nigeria.
100%.
Like there's something, I don't know what it is that we are doing.
But also, no, think about the Irish. One thing that I always have to have a conversation about, the Irish history in itself. Like, people don't understand. Irish, and like, I don't know if it's an offense or a compliment or whatever, but Irish people are the closest thing you get to Black people.
Easy.
Irish people are literally the closest. Like, it doesn't matter how many type of white people I've met.
They're actually the black of Europe.
Yeah, literally.
Just like Chinese are the black of Asia.
Asia,
exactly. They just don't realize it. They don't realize it here.
But like Irish people are so like, they don't understand. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not something that I think is understood well. But then also, if you think about the colonial history of like Ireland and the loss of language and loss of culture and the finding self and
spirituality,
the spirituality, and like also being a country that's surrounded by water. There's just so many things about Ireland that we relate to, and like even the deities. Like that's what like it's like a lot of folklore. Like it breaks my. I wish I was fluent Irish speaker. And I wish I understood. Like
that's
I wish
one
like
thing.
we were taught folklore in school, like Irish folklore. I just wish there was like so much. But that pain is also felt as someone who's like claiming the Irish, like not like I'm Irish. Do you know what I mean? I'm Black and Irish, and like I feel the pain of not understanding my like
the language.
The language. It pisses me off that I don't get. Like I don't want. Like I want to be able to get up and fully speak in Irish. I want to get up and I want to know the stories. I want to know everything. But it's like similar to the Africanness or similar to Nigerianness. I have to go search for that myself. Similar to being Irish, I need to go search
it. You need to.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not just there.
It's not there.
You have to always. There's always a search, and then because of the heaviness of life, of doing life, it robs the time for you to go do that research.
You just have to survive and living
and keep on living. And my daughter now, right, comes home and she's gonna be fluent in Irish.
That is so
and she
cool.
absolutely loves Irish. Like speaking Irish, and we encourage it in the house. And I wish that my teacher back when we were in 2000, when I was in primary school, did not put me out of the class.
We're all exempt. That was
and the traveling community, to put us back of the class to not learn or to not. And I wish that choice was not actually a choice. I wish it was like, you come to Ireland.
You're in Ireland.
You speak the language. Because actually the first thing is in any civilization, the first thing to get rid of, if you get rid of the language, you get rid of the culture.
Like 100. Because even when you think about Yoruba is such a
beautiful.
Like it's similar to Irish. It's like do re mi fa sol la ti do. It's literally so melodic. And it's like because when you. And also in Ireland, like when I get translation of things that are in Irish, my mind gets blown.
The metaphor
it's so nice. In the whole language,
and it's
similar to Yoruba,
and it's similar. I feel like there was they use a similar texture there that I just understand.
It's feeling over logic.
It's not just it's the melodicness of the language.
It's feeling of the language is feeling, and again, a lot of African, it's feeling over logic.
Exactly.
English
is logical.
English is logic and cold.
Can I say something? No offense. English is literally the most basic language.
So it's the driest.
First of all, you're the newest, so like you're not even like that cool. No offense. I know I speak but like you're not that cool. Do you know what I mean? Like Irish, you're like cultures that like languages that are old.
I was with a Palestinian dancer, Amir, and he's based in Sligo, and he said like in Arabic they have 12 million words. 12 million words, so and then I told him I was sitting down and everybody was trying to like get that like 12 million words. I think English only has 400 400,000 or even less of that. But then I was like, so you can explain how wet water is.
Yeah,
literally.
But you can also explain how you experience the wetness of the water. And the same thing I think with Irish, like, because it's also in Irish, a lot of things. I'm not this thing.
Yeah,
hunger is on me.
Upon me.
It's upon me. It has arrived and helped me.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's not like.
In like African language, the Irish, you can explain how you felt about the color and the tone of the sun, and how it hit you while explaining the color. In English, you have to use code,
all
calculated,
of this,
cryptical,
and then you're not actually.
It's not even that, like,
you're not actually you are not then
you're not communicating.
No, the thing about it is,
you're not communicating the experience.
Like, for instance, if I'm angry, like, if I'm angry, I would talk to you in like normal, we were going. We've been going.
Tobi's got a fly now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, what's the time?
He's 10 past.
Okay, cool. We'll round it up. What was I even saying there now?
Oh, the language.
I feel like I haven't even spoken.
Yeah,
honestly,
bro. I literally, like, guys, I
haven't said.
I came to ask you guys 7 questions. And all 7 questions have not, literally, like, 2 questions.
You asked 2. We've subliminally answered a couple of them.
Episode 2.
Honestly, can we please?
Yeah, no, 100%. But I was saying, like, if I get cursed at, like, if my mom, like, is angry at me and she says something to me in English, I'm like, cool.
Yeah, cool.
If she turns around and speaks to me in Yoruba,
cheers soon.
Job done.
There is no insults
there is no
Yoruba.
Translated. Like, even if someone calls you Olodo, like if I call you stupid, stupid. Olodo. Like, the meaning of, like, the type of stupidity, it's like, I don't even
feel it.
I don't even know if there's a direct embody stupidity.
Yeah,
you are
the embodiment of stupidity. Stupidity have come upon your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you.
Yeah, like, stupid is this, but you're a whole different entity.
Of stupid.
Yeah. Your whole vibration has entered idiocy, right?
So, like,
in that moment.
So, like, being insulted in English,
being
insulted in a different language,
it slaps different.
It knocks you.
Don't get insulted in an old language.
And then
you're being cursed, essentially.
Literally, like, and then Tobi said something about which Tobi? You said something about, like, the EDI and in the art space, you know, and I was just thinking, something came to me about, like, again, looking now at Ireland from the perspective of my daughter.
Yeah.
Because
having a child must be so, like,
that's another
change everything.
To be honest, I don't even know, like, this big kid having a child, like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of jealous that she's my child, because I would love to be my own child. Just,
That's how great of a dad I am.
It's just fun.
Again, can you see the ego thing in Tobi?
I know. It's just fun because we're always playing, and she gets to meet so many people. She's with me on set, on things like that. If I could have brought her here, I would have, just because she's in school, But just to say, like, now I'm in a place that now I want there to be a representation, not from, like, the lack of it, because it does something to I don't go out there thinking only for my community. I think about it, like you said, from the
our even in Yoruba, is us. It's
us.
In Yoruba, it's us.
White, we're talking about you, white, Asian, whatever it is that you
are.
Purple.
You got 2 legs, you speak a language,
LGBTQ. You name it,
like,
it's always us as we are.
We are. So and then it's a shame that already at a 10-year-old now doesn't feel that she's accepted in where she is born. And that's where Ireland needs to step up. That people now that are born here, if they don't feel that this is their home,
big problem.
Like, the country is not gonna be it can't flourish because everybody is
the citizen.
This is
like, what the citizen looks like now.
This is what the citizens are looking like more and more now. So now that space of EDI needs to transform to say, okay, we don't want more of ethnic diverse or
what ethnicity.
It's not about ethnicity. That I think we are removed from that because now we have to now think, okay, if the generation that are born here still do not have access, then the country is going to be very hot for everybody. For everybody. And we can see that like in the UK, we can see examples of that in the UK. We can see that in
like literally so many places that black people have existed long enough.
Yeah, exactly. and now Ireland now have the opportunity to get it right and to do it right.
That's what I always say this. I was like, Ireland is such an example.
It's such an example.
Because also like it's the privilege to be like first gen, I guess. Like we get to like in 20-30 years, like I hopefully they look back at this podcast and they can see what blackness exactly. These guys are the conversations that we were having at the time.
And this is where it brought us.
Yeah, and this is, do you know what I mean? This is like we are
shout out
our
to
own reference. But like this is we are going to be our own references. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think for me as well as an artist, and this is one thing that I feel about us, and this is just to even like round it off, but it's like, I feel like we're empaths. So it's like, the reason why I think we also do a lot of things because we feel the need to fill space. It's like even me as an artist, like there's so many things I have passion for, but like my artist, even when I don't feel like, oh, am I meant to be doing this? But like there's something that is so tapped in my mind that I'm like, I need other black, like it's bigger than just like me liking to paint. Like I'm like, I want my work in an exhibition in Ireland. So when they go on a school tour and there's 3 or 4 black kids in that class, they see something that represents them.
And the name Oluwa Tobi is on the wall.
It's on the wall. And it's just not it's something that they can point out to be like, Oluwa Tobi.
And that's how I'm now referring to myself henceforth. I'm not just Tobi.
I stopped being Tobi 5 years ago.
So it's like Oluwa Tobi. And it's very important. And actually the first representation that I saw to be able to, like, this was only like less than, let's just say 12 years ago. Was his name is Emil. He just came back from Uganda, and I don't even know how he found my email. But he was sending out messages because Dublin Dance Festival programmed in Chocolate Factory a documentary that he did from Uganda. And then Josie D was also involved in from Breaking Convention, was also involved in making that documentary. And if not of that email, and I didn't want to go because I thought, this is not a space for someone like me. There's not going to be anybody like me. And I'm going to now feel weird going into that space. And then I don't want to feel that.
And it's also, remember like in class when they were reading something and they now start talking about the black person, everybody in class like turns around and they're looking at you, you're like,
Macbeth,
and you're just kind of like, okay,
and all that, so I was like, no way I'm going into this space. Like I was like, dead that, I just want to be doing my street dance and
where I feel safe.
Where I feel safe. Where I feel safe and I can create. But I missed my bus that day. And something just said, okay, it was raining and I needed somewhere to stay for a few hours.
Like,
I'll go there.
Let me just go. And then, and the guy says it's free and there's food too. So I was like, I'm there. So, and then when I walked into that space, I was wrong. Right? And thank God I was wrong. And also, like, shout outs. And the moment I saw the power of invitation, like the power of and representation on every level. That now that Tobi would not have been sitting down here if not for that.
Or not going to a room and seeing that it was possible
on screen that these people are mixing Rwanda culture, they're mixing hip hop, they're mixing dance, contemporary music, live drumming, all of these things, and they're presenting it on a stage in front of people, and they're being valued for it. I'm like,
representation is too important.
It's too important. To play around with. So yes, and you cannot mess about with representation on every on.
And this is not just for Ireland. This is on a worldly scale.
On a worldly scale. On a worldly scale. And if not for that representation, I would not be doing what I'm doing, and hence why I'm doing it passionately. Like so much passion that there have to be representation. I want those kids like us when we're younger, to see, and now it has happened so much.
Yeah.
Like I have kids that saying, "Oh, Tobi, I'm applying for,
this or grants
this, because of you, because of, I can see that you are doing it."
Or like even like when you go to see people who have been granted or listed, and you just see someone's name, you're like, okay, yeah, there's something in you that's like, okay,
there's a past there.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah,
no, honest to God,
Sorry.
guys, this episode
has
been so long.
I didn't.
I gotta go. Let's keep talking.
Yeah, no, but honestly, I want to say thank you so much. I do want to ask one question though, and you guys have to make it
super quick.
Like
super quick.
Give you 5 words.
Super quick.
I know.
5 words. Okay, if you guys had unlimited access to any amount of money and you got to build something in Ireland, what would it be?
My quick answer: I would build Asker and I would bring it global. Because for me, in terms of like Black Irish stories and Black Irish journeys, it expresses.
It resonates.
It was the deepest, most free. Is the phrase I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, that was such
right.
Yeah. Anyways,
shit, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Quick.
If I unlimited resources, right? I would like build like mandatory in schools.
Yeah.
Mandatory programs.
Yeah.
That you have to do, physical, spiritual, and mental.
Yeah.
You know, there's like something to
some sort of mentorship to guide the
like
being.
from school, from that institution,
cultural education.
Culture. So all of the and that could be anything, you know, mental, physical, and spiritual.
Yeah,
those 3 things. Because if there's a cohesiveness with those 3, there's no way anybody can be a shitty human being.
Yeah,
you know, it's not you can't. You just can't. And I think that's.
Yeah. No,
okay.
guys, thank you so much. Wow. Like, you guys have no, like, how fed. I feel so, like, I was hungry before this, so I am fed. Like, I am fully fed. I am so grateful for the opportunity to, like, sit down and actually talk to you guys. And also, it's the fact that I've encountered you guys so much, and you guys have also, like hearing your stories like this for the first time has like changed so much for me.
Yeah, and likewise,
so grateful. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, you were all speaking.
Yeah, no, it was super amazing.
Yeah,
anyways,
right.
Tobi,
thank you very much. Tobi.